hope you can't hear my dishwasher running, but if you can, I'm very sorry. I'm Jennifer and welcome to the Messy Bookshelf. This is Nicole. She has been in one of my videos before. We did a similar video for The Merciless 2 back in July. And today we're talking about Replica. Replica. I'm pretty sure this is technically the front of the book.
I think so.
Because this is the spine. But this has two covers because this is a very interesting book. This book is split down the middle. Here we go. It's split like this. So on one side you have Lyra's entire point of view of the story, and then on the other side you have the exact same story, kind of, but Gemma's point of view. So each side you get their personal stories that connect to the overarching plot, but then you also get different versions of the same scenes because their point of views are going to be different in that situation. Pretty cool. Another cool thing about this is that you can actually read it a couple of different ways. I read Lyra's story in its entirety first, and then I actually took a break and read a different book, and then I read Gemma's story in its entirety. But Nicole read it a different way.
I started with Lyra, and I read her first chapter, and then I switched to Gemma, and I alternated chapters until I finished the whole book, which ended with Gemma.
There are a couple different ways, and we're going to talk about our reading experiences of these different ways as well as the book. We will mention it when we're going to start doing spoilers, so I will make that very known when spoilers are going to be talked about.
Because the book is out now. The book came out on October 4th. So even though we're a little late doing this, because we read this a couple months ago, we got it as ARCs through work with Indigo, it's okay to talk about spoilers now. In our last video we did our review really early and no one had actually read the book, so hopefully some of you guys have.
Reading their stories in their entirety on their own was kind of like reading two separate books, and I did really enjoy that. But I did find that because I knew there was a whole other story happening at the same time, I kept wanting to flip back and forth. I don't think I would read it chapter for chapter though. I think when I read the second book, I think what I'm going to do, because I am going to be continuing on with the series, is I'm going to read, in this case it would be Lyra's story, until I am craving the other side. And then I'll read their story until I'm craving. Because I found in both stories, I was like, I want to go back to that other person. I want to know what they're knowing right at this moment and what they're doing right at this moment. And I just feel like that is the best way to read it for me. Not saying that reading them in their entirety was bad. I still really enjoyed this book. It just felt more like two books instead of one book. Especially where I did read an entirely separate book, which you can find out about in my September wrap-up in between their stories.
Well, I started with Lyra's story, which she is a clone or a replica at an institution called Haven. That's pretty much all I knew about her going into it. As I then flipped to Gemma right after chapter 1, and I didn't know much about her either. I knew she was a human who was sick a lot as a child, and she has some connection to Haven, which keeps coming up in her adolescent life, and she doesn't know what Haven is, so she explores it and finds out what's going on. It was really cool when the characters met up in the story, and I constantly was flipping back, reading the same scenes from each point of view. I felt I got to know the characters better, like they grew with me at the same time, because when Lyra was discussing a scene, I was also getting Gemma from the same point, and I grew with them at the same time. So, and I ended up actually favoring Gemma a little more. I felt that I understood her more as a person myself. I did like Lyra though, and I was very excited when the spoiler happened near the ending.
I actually preferred Lyra's story. Like, I still really, really, really enjoyed Gemma, but as a character, I preferred Lyra. So I'm very much wondering if it's because of the way we read them, or if it's just because of who we are as people.
Yeah.
But both stories were absolutely fantastic. Lyra's story starts with she's in Haven, and Gemma's story starts where she's at home with her parents. This event happens, and it kind of brings them together. And then they have to figure out what's going on, because each person has their own knowledge of the happenings behind Haven.
They both have the half the other needs, and together, when they finally got together and found out what each other were and who they were, and just combined their knowledge together, we actually got the whole story, which was really cool.
Yeah, so I really recommend this book. It was fantastic. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
I think I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
I want to double check that actually. So yeah, definitely go check this out. This book, like we said, this book came out back early October, so you can find it in your local bookstore.
This was actually my first Lauren Oliver book.
This was my first Lauren Oliver book.
I never read her before. This isn't really a spoiler, but yeah, after reading this, I have gone back and pretty much stocked up on everything else she's wrote.
I tried to read Delirium and I couldn't get into it. I may try it at some point when my TBR is a lot smaller, because I feel like now that I know her writing style and I'm used to it, I might be able to go back and really and understand it. Because the reason I started Delirium in the first place, because I watched they were going to try and turn it into a TV show, but it never ended up happening. But they ended up airing the pilot anyway.
Ooh.
Because it had Emma Roberts in it.
Ooh.
And so I sat down with Ashley, who I was living with at the time, and she had read the book. And I sat down with her and we watched it, and I really enjoyed it. And I think she said that they changed a lot.
I'm really into that, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the new covers for Delirium are just
so
gorgeous.
Nice. I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah. So I might go back and try her other stuff, but it's not something that I'm like gunning for. Like I for sure I'm going to be picking up this second book when it comes out, because I want to continue on with this story because it's really good. But I don't know if I'm going to go back and read her other stuff right now. So now we are going to set ourselves free so we can actually discuss spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you don't want to know any spoilers, you should probably stop now, go read it, and then come back. And we'll see you soon. Okay. Yeah, this was really good. I wish there might have been a little bit more world building when it came to Haven. I found I didn't get enough sense of it, but I don't know, maybe
we'll get more.
Maybe we'll get more, or maybe she decided to not focus on it because where it gets blown up so quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's nothing, it's not like we're spending a whole lot of time there. Like we're 2 chapters in and the place is gone. So like we really didn't get any sense of it. I feel like maybe a prequel novella or something.
That would be fun.
Would be great to just know what life was like at Haven, because
maybe from Nurse M's point of view.
Ooh, yes, that would be good.
Yeah.
Replica, Nurse M. Because yeah, this is a lot like Orphan Black, and a show that I really enjoy called Dollhouse. Joss Whedon's show.
I've been wanting to watch that.
It is so good. Is it still on Netflix?
I feel like it's not.
I have the entire series because there's only 2 seasons.
Oh.
And I have them on DVD. So if you want to borrow them.
I do.
Okay. But yeah, it gave me that kind of feel.
I watched The Island. I don't know the lead male character, but Scarlett Johansson's in it, and it was kind of along with the clones, but the clones were like life insurance, Like if I needed a heart, it would be taken from my clone. That's what my clone was for.
Yeah.
It's like a donor. So I kind of thought that's where this was going.
Yeah, that's where I thought this was going too. I still don't really understand where it's going, like what they're being used for. Like, I don't feel like it's
over. It's not over.
No, I don't feel like we completely understand. This book does leave a lot of questions.
Yes. Gemma is a human, and Lyra is a replica. And that's basically all you know going into this book. And even that's not true.
No, no, not true. Not true at all. And I really enjoyed that.
Yep. I definitely was very upset when Lyra's friend turned out to be Gemma's replica. I was really kind of upset by that. I really expected Lyra and Gemma to look alike, like for Lyra to be her replica.
Yeah.
And I remember texting you and being really upset at that. That was not where this book was going. Like it felt like a given to me.
Yeah.
And now I understand why.
Because it brings this whole new twist into effect.
That was definitely better.
Yeah. Because it's not what we expected.
No. So, if you have read the book, you do know that Gemma is actually a replica, and Lyra is a human missing child.
Yeah. Because they steal children! And I'm still like there's so many questions left to be answered.
And we leave off with the people from Haven searching for Gemma and Lyra. And her father is very mad because he warned her and she's in a very lot of danger. So I feel like there is still a lot to come.
Yeah, and we've met Lyra's father.
Yes.
There's the next book is definitely going to be interesting, and I really cannot wait. So that is it. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought about this book. Are you planning on getting this book? And I will see you next week.
Bye.